Good morning, students. Welcome back to today's session 14. I hope everybody is fine at home. Be safe at home, okay? The previous class we have discussed about distinguish between contraction of supply and decrease in supply. Similarly, we have also discussed about extension of supply and increase in supply. Now, in today's class, we are going to discuss about the elasticity of supply. I think you remember the elasticity of demand in chapter 2. Similar to this, the supply, we also discuss about the elasticity of supply. What is meant by the elasticity of supply and what are the categories of price elasticities. Okay, there we will discuss about the 5 types of price elasticity of supply with various 5 different values. Each type we will discuss later. And first of all, we will start with what is meant by price elasticity of supply. What is meant by price elasticity of supply? Price elasticity of supply measures the degree of responsiveness of the quantity supplied of a commodity to a change in its price. I repeat, price elasticity of supply measures to the degree of responsiveness of the quantity supplied of a commodity to a change in its prices. Price elasticity of supply is defined precisely. We can say that the concise form of price elasticity of supply is the proportionate change in quantity supplied upon proportionate change in its price. That is what we call price elasticity of supply. That explanation or that definition can be expressed in the form of a formula. So we can write that price elasticity of supply. We can also note it down. Price elasticity of supply is equal to proportionate change in quantity supplied. Proportionate change in quantity supplied upon proportionate change in price. Proportionate change in price. The price elasticity of supply can be expressed in the form of ES. ES means price elasticity of supply. Proportionate change in quantity supplied upon proportionate change in price. This is what we mean by price elasticity of supply. In that definition, you need to underline or you need to remember two technological terms, that the degree of responsiveness. The degree of responsiveness, that is what you have to keep in mind. Okay, so this is the symbolical expression of price elasticity of supply. The price elasticity of supply, a certain fact of this price elasticity of supply. The price elasticity of supply will be always a positive number. It is always a positive number. What is the reason? Because the price and the quantity supplied of a commodity are positively related. We have studied about the law of supply, or we have also cleared about the shape of supply curve. There is a positive relation with the quantity supplied of its price. So, due to this positive relation or positively related quantity supplied of a commodity and the price of the commodity, and therefore the price elasticity of supply will always be positive. Okay, it is always be a positive number. So keep in mind that. The reason I have told you, it is because the supply curve is positively sloped. and that shows the relationship between a positive relation that the quantity supplied of a commodity increases when there is a increase in price. Okay, that positive relation we could see this. That is the reason it is always a positive number. Is that clear? Now we will go to the different categories of price elasticity of supply. Okay, to describe the various degree of price elasticity of supply, we have 5 types of price elasticities. To describe the various price elasticity of supply, we have 5 different types of price elasticity. What are these 5? All those 5 we have studied in chapter 2, the price elasticity of demand, similar to the same name, but only diagram is different and the relation is different. Okay, what are those? Perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, elastic, inelastic and unitary elastic. These are the 5 types of or 5 categories of elasticity of supply. So you can write that categories or degrees of elasticity of supply. Categories of elasticity of supply. Category of elasticity of supply. So 5 categories. I am going to write the 5 categories. Number 1 is perfectly elastic supply. You can also write perfectly elastic. Perfectly elastic supply. And number 2 is perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic. And number 3, unitary elastic. Unitary elastic. And number 4 is elastic supply. Elastic supply. And 5 is inelastic. Inelastic supply. So these are the 5 kinds of or 5 categories of elasticity of supply. There are 5 categories of elasticity of supply. The first category is perfectly elastic, second perfectly inelastic, then third unitary elastic, and fourth elastic, and fifth inelastic. These are the 5 categories. All these 5 categories have different values and different descriptions related to the price elasticity of supply. I have just told you that price elasticity always be positive, okay, because of its positive relation with the quantity supplied and its prices. And perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic. So first of all we will discuss about what is perfectly elastic and what is perfectly inelastic. Okay, all the 5 diagrams, I am going to draw all the 5 diagrams. You can also draw the diagrams, and based on all those 5 diagrams, you can easily explain the different types of or 5 categories of elasticity or 5 degrees of elasticity of supply. So you can just draw it. You can also draw. Okay, just draw all the 5 diagrams. Alright, now let us see the explanation part of this 5 types of 5 categories of elasticity of supply. The first one is perfectly elastic supply. Look at the diagram, perfectly elastic supply. What is the shape of the supply curve here under perfectly elastic supply? You can easily say that the perfectly elastic supply, what does it mean? It is parallel to x-axis. It is parallel to x-axis. And what does the perfectly elastic supply means? You will see a horizontal line to x-axis, which means the quantity supplied of a commodity. Okay, quantity supply, the price elasticity of the perfectly elastic, it means that quantity supplied of a commodity is response to its price, which means it says that it has the elasticity is equal to infinity elasticity, because here the producer is ready to, or the seller is prepared to sell an infinite quantity of commodity at this prices. He or she is not ready to sell any more quantity of commodity by this prices. Either this prices the producer or the sellers are ready to sell, but they are not ready to sell any commodity lighter changes in this price. So therefore, perfectly elastic supply means, what does it mean? Producers are, or sellers, ready to sell maximum quantity, more quantity of supply of this commodity by this prices only. If there is any changes, the lighter changes in prices, either increase or decrease, there is no changes in supply. This is by this prices only he or she is able to supply or produce the commodity. Therefore, the value is infinity. So we can write the value is first value or first degree of price elasticity equal to infinity. Right? This is the value of perfectly elastic supply. There. Now what is next? Perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic, the supply curve is vertical towards y-axis. Supply curve is vertical towards y-axis. Very clear, you know that the quantity, the proportionate change in quantity supplied will remain constant at various prices. You keep in mind that in cases the quantity supplied of a commodity is fixed, like OQ is the quantity supplied and by OP prices, the initial price. And even the price either increase or decrease, no chance of changing the quantity supplied of a commodity in relation with the changes in prices. If the price increased from OP to OP1, price increased, but is there any quantity supplied increases? No chance of increasing. So that is known as perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic supply. So perfectly inelastic supply, what will be the value? The value will be equals to 0. So we can write price elastic supply is equal to 0. The value is 0. And that is why the shape of supply curve is parallel to y or vertical towards y-axis. Okay, that is the shape. Whereas perfectly elastic is infinitive in nature. Okay, by this price only more quantity of commodity is being supplied, but nobody is ready to supply more. But any other prices, any slighter changes in prices, no chances. It is a rare phenomenon. It is a difficult phenomenon. This case is in actual practice. It is not there in actual practices. Okay, but it has an important role in the elasticity. Then in this cases, perfectly inelastic, the supply curve is parallel to y and that remain constant. So what we can write that inelastic supply in which there is no supply. There is no change in supply. OQ is the quantity produced. There is no change in supply, even the price increase or decreases. So therefore the value is 0. Clear? And another one, the third category of price elastic supply is unitary elastic supply. What is unitary? Unitary means equals to 1. Very simple, we can say. The elasticity, the degree of elasticity of supply is equals to 1. What is equal to 1? Percentage change in quantity supplied, or we can say proportionate change in quantity supplied is equal to proportionate changes in its prices. There is an equal changes. There is an equal changes in the quantity supplied along with the prices, and therefore the value is equals to 1. So unitary elastic, you keep in mind. Okay, so we can write the shape is positive slopes of supply curve and equal changes. See, by OP prices, the producer produced OQ level of quantity. Equal changes. Now if the prices changes, suppose the price changes from, okay, you can write the dot OP1 to OP2, OP1. Suppose the price change. Then what about the quantity? Quantity also changed from OQ and OQ2. The same difference, the same level. The proportionate changes in quantity supplied will be equals to its change in prices. So equal you can see. And one more thing. This is so therefore the value is, we can write elasticity of supply is equals to 1. Equals to 1, it's a unitary elastic. Now you think one important point in these cases you have to remember. If any straight line, keep in mind that if any straight line supply curve drawn through the origin or from the origin, if any straight line supply curve, see this is a straight line supply curve. If I have drawn or if I drew any straight line supply curve from the origin, like this is one supply curve, this is also another supply curve. So three straight line supply curve is through origin or from the origin it started. In such cases, the elasticity of supply will be equals to 1. So we can write this is supply curve 1 and this is supply curve 2 and this is supply curve 3. 3 supply curve I have drawn and each of the supply curve is touching or through the origin or it started from its origin 0, and therefore all the 3 supply curves S1, S2, S3, all the 3 supply curves, the value will be equals to 1, no other value. Are you clear? Keep in mind this, the important point of this unitary elastic supply. If any straight line supply curve is drawn from or through an origin, the value is always equals to 1. Okay? Equals to 1. No matter what the slope is. The slope, what level of, okay, what is the trend of sloping the curve is no matter. So keep in mind that. So it's an important factor. And then we move to the fourth one, elastic supply. What is elastic supply? Supply is, okay, you can see a supply curve there that is touched with OY axis. OY axis it is touched. So if any straight line supply curve is touches or is touched on this OY axis anywhere, either here or here, anywhere on this OY axis, the value is great. What is value? Is greater than 1. So we will write the elasticity supply is greater than 1. If any straight line supply curve touches or cuts the y axis, it is touch and cut. It cuts then the value is greater than 1. What does it mean greater than 1? Supply is said to be elastic when the percentage change in quantity supplied of a commodity is greater than percentage change in its price. Percentage change in quantity supplied is greater than percentage change in its price. Then it is greater than 1. Therefore, we can say if any straight line supply curve either here or here, if it touches, the value is greater than 1. Clear? All of clear? I think you are clear. Elastic supply. In the same case, then we move to the next inelastic supply. What about inelastic supply? Just opposite of this. So what we can write? Here the straight line supply curve is touches with the x-axis or x-axis, x line, horizontal line. So we can easily say that if any straight line supply curve touches or cuts the x-axis, then the value will be less than 1. So we will write elasticity of supply is equal to less than 1. It is less than 1. These are the degree. What does this less than means? The price elasticity, the supply is called inelastic supply only when percentage change in quantity supplied is of a commodity is less than the percentage change in price. Here quantity supplied is less than its price. So we can write simple sentence, quantity supplied is less than in its price. That is what inelastic supply. Here quantity supplied is greater than in its price. Okay, quantity supplied is greater than in its prices is called elastic supply. Percentage change in quantity supplied is less than in its price is inelastic supply. Or else we can say if the straight line or the straight line supply curve cuts the y-axis anywhere on the y-axis, the value will be greater than 1. What does that mean? That means quantity supply of a commodity is greater than the percentage change in price. That is what the price elasticity. We are studying about price elasticity of supply. What are the degrees? Various categories, various values of the price elasticity. 5 types of values, and each value describes 5 ways. What are these 5 values? One is infinity 1, another one is 0, then third equals to 1, then greater than 1 and less than 1. All the 5 types. So these are the main categories of elasticity of supply. There are 5 different categories or 5 degrees of elasticity: perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, unitary. Then elastic and inelastic. It can be asked in any way, either in a essay question like explain the categories of price elasticity of supply with the help of a diagram. So all the 5 category or 5 category you have to write with a separate diagram, and you should remember all these descriptions and the values. And if it can be asked what is the price elasticity of S2 and S3. So sometimes you may get confusion that you will write this is equals to 1 because that is the center line, so it will be equals to 1. So S2 will be greater than, or this will be less than, or this will be less than, or S3 will be greater than. So you may confuse, you have to return that. So that will be wrong. Then what is the answer? I told you, any straight line passes through the origin. Any straight line passes through the origin or from the origin, any supply curve, that all those supply curves value is equals to 1. So S1, S2 and S3 value is equal to 1. Say it does not matter what the slope is. Okay, it does not matter what the slope is. The changes are the same only. So that is why every of supply curve of this in this cases is equals to 1. Clear? And again, if the straight line touches OY axis greater than 1, if it touches OX axis less than 1. Anywhere on X, anywhere, it can touch anywhere. Okay, doesn't matter, the value will be same, less than 1. Anywhere on OY axis, value will be greater than 1. Okay, just note it down and we will move to the next. Right students, I think you have completed. So now we will move to the next. What is our next topic? Measurement of elasticity of supply. Okay, I am going to rub it. So next heading we can write measurement of elasticity of supply. Measurement. Measurement of elasticity of supply. What is meant by measure? How can we measure the elasticity of supply? We can measure the elasticity of supply by two methods. We can measure the elasticity of supply by two methods. The first method is percentage method and the second one is point method or geometric method. All these two methods we will discuss just now, and we will do some of the numericals according to this method. Okay, so the first method of calculating elasticity of supply is percentage method. So you can write first method is percentage method. Percentage method. So percentage method, what is meant by percentage method? Percentage method, I have told you that with the different elasticities we know that. So percentage method of calculating, we know price elasticity in a simple way we have expressed here. Proportionate change in quantity supply upon proportionate change in price. A general formula of calculating the price elasticity of supply by percentage method. Percentage method, so that we can you can write again price elasticity of supply by percentage method in a simple sense. We can write proportionate change in quantity supplied or percentage change. Proportionate means what? Percentage change. So we will write a percentage price elasticity of supply is equal to percentage change in quantity supplied upon percentage change in price. Percentage change in quantity supplied upon percentage change in price. Okay, so when we derivate, when we derivate this, we will get a formula finally. Okay, let us see what is that. Percentage change in quantity supplied, we will write elasticity of supply is equal to percentage change in quantity supplied. We can write delta Q change, percentage changes delta Q upon, okay, changes we are writing by Q into 100. So we will get a percentage change in quantity supplied divided by percentage change in price. Similarly, we will write delta P upon P into 100. Okay, clear? And we will write again. We can write that. And finally we will write delta Q upon right here delta Q upon delta P into P upon Q. So this is the derivation part. Finally, the elasticity of supply is equal to this. Derivation part is not necessary. So the formula of calculating price elasticity of supply by percentage method, we have two formula. One is if the question is given a percentage change in quantity supplied directly, so you can use this, and another one is this. So this one and this. These are the two formula that you need to use while calculating the price elasticity of supply by percentage method. Okay, by percentage method. So now in this you you need to write here where delta Q. What is meant by delta Q? Where delta Q, you can write delta Q is equal to Q1 minus Q. Delta Q is equal to Q1 minus Q. So what will be then Q1? Q1 is equal to delta Q plus Q. Then what about Q? Q is equal to Q1 minus delta Q. So these are the three ways of calculations. Similarly, you can also write delta P. What is delta P? Delta P is equal to P1 minus P. Then what will be P? So P1 is equal to delta P plus P. Then what about P? P is equal to P1 minus delta P. Clear? Right, the formula, the percentage method of calculating price elasticity formula is delta Q upon delta P into P by Q. What is delta Q? Delta Q is Q1 minus Q. So what is Q1? Q and Q1. Q is initial quantity supplied. Q1 is change in quantity. Change in quantity supplied. Similarly, P is equal to initial price. Initial price. P1 is equal to change in price. Change in price. Now one thing, do you remember I have told you price elastic supply will be always be positive in number. Always be positive in number. So these are the formula. You can note it down. These are the formula. Okay. Note it, all this formula to calculate, and what is Q, Q1, P, P1. Note it down. Okay. Now we will see some one problem numericals. I think you have noted. Help me a bit. So I'm just writing the formula. Price elasticity of supply is equal to delta Q upon delta P into P by Q. This is the formula. Now one question. I'm just writing one question. An increase in price of one commodity from rupees 40 to rupees 50. Increase in price. Rupees 40 to rupees 50. Results in an increase in quantity supplied of that same quantity from. So increase in quantity supplied is 1000 to 1500. This is the question. What's the question? Increase in price of one commodity leads to increase in quantity. So here, according to the question, we can write all these points first. What is Q? What is Q? What is Q1? And we have to find out. What is Q? See, price 40 and 50. So what is P? P is equal to rupees 40, initial price. What is P1? Change in price 50. What is delta P? Delta P is equal to P1 minus P. 50 minus 40. That is equal to 10. Clear? So we have got one value. And what is next step? Q. What is Q? Q is equal to initial quantity is 1000. Change in quantity Q1 is equal to 1500. Delta Q is equal to 1500 minus 1000 is equal to 500. So we have got this two value. Now we apply this two value into the formula. Come to the formula. What is elasticity of supply is equal to delta Q. Delta Q is 500. So we will write 500 upon delta P. Delta P is 10 into P upon Q. P means initial price is rupees 40. So 40 by Q. Initial quantity is 1000. We applied the values, all these values into the formula we applied. Now we will find out what. So we have got 500 by 10 into 40 by 1000. So what will be the answer? The answer will be 2. The answer will be 2. So we have got an elasticity, price elasticity of supply is positive. Positive value, positive plus 2. Is that clear? Right. Is that clear? Okay. So we will do one more numericals. The question is, a seller sells 100 units of a commodity when its price per unit is rupees 10. the supply goes up to 140 units as a result of increase in its price to rupees 12 per unit. Calculate the price elasticity of supply. Okay, these are the problems from your textbooks, unsolved numericals. You can find it in the textbook, page number 97. Unsolved numericals are given. So one of the problems, unsolved problem. So I am just writing in short. The question is, seller sells 100 units of commodity. So there is price. So we will get all the values P and P1. P is equal to 100 and chain P1 is equal to 12. Okay. Similarly, Q is given according to the question. Q is given is equal to 100 and Q1 is equal to given 140. This is the question. So these are the things given in the question. Now we have to find out. We should use this formula. So in order to use this formula, we need to find out the delta Q and the delta P. So delta P is equal to P1 minus P. I am writing again. Then that is 12 minus. So this P is not 100. P is 10. 12 minus 10, that is equal to 2. Okay. Then Q delta Q. Delta Q is equal to delta Q. What is Q1 minus Q? Q1 minus Q. Q1 is Q1 140 minus Q is 100. That is 40. Now you have to apply these values into the formula. What is the formula? Delta Q upon delta P into P by Q. So you can write price elasticity of supply is equal to delta Q is 40 upon delta P is 2 into P upon Q. P is 10. 10 upon Q. Q is 100. So we have got this. So you can cancel out the zeros. Okay, cancel it. So you will be getting the answer is, again you have got positive answer. That means 2. Is that clear? Write down. Okay students, we have seen 2 numericals and we have solved it, and all the formula I have told you, you can keep, you can write in properly. You remember all the same formula we have studied when we calculate the price elasticity of demand, same way only. So the same thing we repeated again. So it is very easy to remember. And also we have discussed today the price, what is mean by price elasticity of supply, and what are the 5 categories or 5 degrees of price elasticities, like perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, elastic, inelastic and unitary elastic. All these 5 types we have discussed, and we have also studied about the numericals based on one of the methods of calculation of price elasticity of supply, that is percentage method. And one more method is left that we will be discussing later by next class, and that is point method or geometric method. Okay, so up to here you have to study it. and you can also solve the unsolved numericals which is given in your textbooks, page number 97. There are some problems, you can solve it in the fair copy, and also you can see the solved numericals from the textbooks. In such a way you will be very clear what way you can write and find the answer of price elasticity of supply. So today this is the end of today's session. Then we will meet by next, that means next classes, with another measures of price elasticity, another method, that is point method. Okay, then bye.